We have one. One entire sap tree at Mark II. Yay. And this is going to make them at 0.05 per second. Huzzah. All that good stuff. At least I have the resources for this. There's another. Anyway, let's build. Let's build the Lard. With our new creature. Is there a better Mark II sap tree recipe? No, there is not. And there doesn't need to be because it's a guaranteed output. The sap, moss, and seaweed are guaranteed outputs. There's no like little 0.5% chance of success. Followed by a recipe that gives you 25% chance of success. Alright, you there are going to need to be replaced on your modules. That means putting the actual recipe in. Oh yeah, put all that away. So the only recipe that exists, of course, is the one that is limestone. That is the only one that exists in my mind. Good old limestone-based seaweed. And doing this just assigns the recipes. Yeah, so I wish I could just control left click to upgrade these modules. But no, there's no combination of buttons that just upgrades these modules. Control left clicking, control shift left clicking, shift left clicking. Well, that's the assign the recipe stuff. And then if I go into the actual machine and I am holding these upgraded modules, if I control click, it takes them away, and then you can click. Like, that's how I've been doing it the entire time. You see how tedious that is? Yes, you could... It doesn't paste. It does not actually... It doesn't do the replacement using the blueprint. You have to take them out and then put the new ones in. And it's like that with vanilla too. I have never found a way to replace level 1 modules with level 2 or 3 modules of the same type. It doesn't work. But anyway, there's the Mark IIs. Also, a reminder to King that the Mark II Moss still does not have the little red thingies. Or at least they're not shown. You can't see them. Here's a Mark II Moss. Here is a Mark II Moss. You can't see the little red. You can't even see a hint of the little red dots to show that it's Mark II. And yes, there would be a problem with that if the... So say your inventory's full. right? And it can't pull it out. They would need to have some sort of a. They would need to have a check first for inventory space on the modules that it has to take out, and then it has to put the modules in that you're trying to put in. And it has to check if, say, you have a machine with mixed modules in it, it has to know which ones you're trying to input and know to pull out the previous version of that one rather than the other ones. And that seems like a pretty complex thing to implement properly without bugs. Anyway, this needs water. I'm going to stick the water down at the end. And it needs the inputs on the limestone. 2 inputs on limestone. Alright, the way that this is going to work, of course, is go like that. Hello! Welcome! Welcome to the... what will eventually be the Lard factory. I am doing the seaweed for the Lard factory right now. Finishing the seaweed for the Lard factory, finally. Shall we say finally finishing the seaweed for the Lard factory? I should have been done with this Lard factory like 2 streams ago. But here we are. Finally finishing. Ideally. Right, this is... I screwed up. Somewhere. Right there. Right there. That, those two, those two. Those two. Those two. Alright. That's the inserters on all the things. You forgot to update tier numbers to tell it what the upgrades are. Okay. So it's supposed to do that behavior and doesn't. Gotcha. And it's probably like that with not just seaweed, but basically every other thing added. Every other module added in the Pi suite. Just maybe double check every single module in the Pi suite to make sure that you've added those defines. I just happened to notice that with seaweed, that it didn't do the proper upgrade. Only the last few new ones. Alright. Good. So that means I can do it with Mark II Vrauk, for instance. We can test this. We can test this thing. So, as it turns out, I noticed between last stream and this stream that I have a Vrauk cocoon section of the base that is making plenty of Vrauk cocoons, but it is partially upgraded to Mark II, while the rest are all Mark Is. So I could just grab some Mark II Vrauk to fill the thing. I would hope that by now I have a sufficient quantity of Mark II Vrauk hanging out to upgrade my various Vrauks. That was Mark II. Don't want to get rid of that. I'm carrying chromium. I don't need to carry chromium. nor those 4 poles. So, has there been any mention by the developers about the about that electric mining drill? I haven't paid attention to the Factorio forums in a while, but has anyone else brought up the the sprite on the electric mining drill in there? I forget where it is. Where is it? Where's that? Where is that chest? Where is that warehouse that I had with the mining drill in it? I have completely and utterly forgotten where that thing is. How low is it? This is, I have a bit of a big mall, by the way. It's sizable and things get lost. Buy blood. Buy blood. Here. Yeah. Yeah, so this thing. Has no one on the forum pointed out that this is a dildo? Like, come on. They have. Good. Good. Very good. I'm glad others have pointed this out. Because that was like the first thing that came to mind. And I'm sure questions on why is it that icon now when it doesn't look anything like the existing graphic. Anyway, so I have this Vrauk cocoon thing up here where you can see some of the Mark II modules are here, but other machines are Mark I. And this one has a mix of 1 and 2, a mix of 1 and 2, a mix of 1 and 2. So this will be our test. This can be the test on the replacement thing. Come on, just make your way through, because I gotta go north. Another pole died. So many poles died. There's apparently, I have a warning on my Streamlabs about skipped frames. Like, yeah, I know the game is not performing well, but it's literally, it's telling me I have 0 dropped frames, but apparently there were skipped frames. And it didn't increment dropped frame counter. Are that okay? It's like, well, what do you mean? What do you mean? Streaming software? Like, I know that the game is making everything freeze. Does that actually make everything freeze when that happens? Like, even the webcam? I think so. I think so. It's just system resources. I have begun thinking and giving real thought to the situation where my computer might be dying. Like, I am becoming more and more convinced that my PC is just in the process of slowly dying. Very slowly dying. Hey, it did the thing. It did the thing. See, it's doing the thing even on the ones where it's mixed. It has done the faster place. So there it is, the proof that yes, the faster place is a thing that does exist, but just didn't happen to work with those particular seaweed modules. Just hold control and left click on the machines. And there you go. Not like I'm actually using any of these cocoons at the moment. Anywhere. Everything they're being used for is fully backed up. So, Lard. How about we get back to that? It's been nearly an hour and I've just done like the basic of basic inserter logistics on those seaweed. Am I planning a Factorio playthrough? I was never actually truly planning to do a Factorio playthrough. I was considering doing it. I was never planning doing it. Partly because I did try playing through Factorio 2, and you know, it falls into that same vanilla trap of it's just too long before you can get access to robots. You have to get all the way through utility science to get robots, and it's like, I'd rather not. You know, it would be better to just go completely around. Just follow the tracks. Just follow the tracks. I mean, it really does feel very close to vanilla now. At the start, the initial phases feel a little bit too close to vanilla again. I mean, sure, you've now got these cards for science, and you have to like make these empty cards, but they're like super cheap to make those cards. It doesn't feel like it really adds much of anything to me of value, of like inherent gameplay value at that early phases of the game, in which, of course, if it doesn't, if a game doesn't hook you in the early phases, and you end up getting bored with it, why should you force yourself, basically, to keep playing to get to the good part? You shouldn't have to force yourself to play to get to the good part. So, anyway, just getting power. Oh, hi. Hello, tech. Nice to see the techs are flowing. Somewhat. That should have given me... Or no, I have to pick up something in here. What was it? This. Coal bed methane extractor. So, this gives me an alternative method of getting methane, just by the way. Doing this would give alternative methane than doing it through the moondrops, but yeah, it costs resources in the form of filtration media and drill heads. both of which technically you can get infinitely without any drain on resources, but still, it's a bit more complex. I'd rather do normal methane. It's just interesting that this is a requirement to get into here. Just one of those interesting things. It's a requirement to get into here. But this tech is going to give us the natural gas to methane from tin chromium alloy. That one is a much more convenient recipe as I adjust myself. I can see using this one, even though yes, it is tin chromium alloy, but it's 1 every 400 units of methane, and if you really look at the stuff that uses methane, it's generally speaking not really all that high. So yeah, it's decent. Decent. That's the word. It's decent. Also, it unlocks drilling fluid 3, but like, who cares on this recipe? Lubricant via low distillates. That's actually somewhat convenient. That one is convenient, that lubricant. As with that would be convenient if you want to do stuff with shale oil from coal and natural gas. But really, what the shining stars here is this one. You need this to advance, ultimately. So, yeah, that's why we're doing that. I don't think I use any of these ever. Maybe that one out of condensed distillates, but yeah, just most of this is just not ideal. At least to fracking, which is somewhat decent. But anyway, I never did do fracking, did I? On that previous playthrough, I never did get around to that. So where are the thingies? Here. That's the only thing that uses this, right? Yep. Seaweed! We've got seaweed. Well, the next step... The next step is, stuffs. I'm gonna, like, auto-trash some of this now. Get rid of a lot of that. Give me my pressurized reefs. I have 66 of 80. What was the gasoline recipe on that? It was residual gas and nichrome. Residual gas is, you know, that. And apparently, phase 3 cadaveric seed separation. That's interesting, but yeah, the way to get the residual gas in the first place is, you know, pure natural gas and liquid nitrogen, which, you know, that's that stuff from that stuff from that stuff from that stuff from that stuff with gasoline. Yeah, not that one then. Oh, it only... What? Okay. Why you do this? Why you do this to me? Residual gas. So yeah, definitely not from there. The other one is cadaveric aurum upgrading, which again, pure natural gas, pure natural gas, pure natural gas. Anyway, reefs. These are I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say that word, those words. They have a size 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm not going to do 20. That's 10. Because it's either 8 rows of 10 or it's 5 rows of 16. I think we'll do 8 rows of 10. Whales! Yes, they are the whales. The whales shall exist. Alright, you've got all your modules in you, good. It's 2 belts. On the inputs. I'm gonna put it like this, just 'cause. I'm gonna need that. Gonna need that. Output, output. The. That'll do it. And yes, I could do the underground belt. Use the actual underground distance. I'm not really gonna bother on this time. And then the beauty of this, I can just copy. Let's get the power poles first. Oh, do you? You do not. How unfortunate that they are one tile too big to do that proper stretching across. Yeah. So if I put this at the max distance, it will not reach there. It will not reach there for that one. Which means that I need one, you know, like there-ish. That's how that will work. In the alternative, does that work? Yes, it does. Okay, good. It's not actually attached to power on the right side. Yet. Okay, that's 10 of 80. Now the beauty of this is I can just copy this whole thing. Rotate it, place it. You know, until I run out of actual modules for these, that is. Oh, I am out of power poles, because of course I am. And yeah, I don't need the power poles on that side. There we go. Just add the belt here. And then what I have... I'm gonna move that in a tile. And then what I have is this lovely little thing that I can assign the proper recipe to. It was this recipe and not any of the others, right? Yeah. Because it just changes time. It's like, is it really worth spending 2 filtration media to cut down the overall time by 10 seconds? Anyway. Yeah, all these just change time, so I'm not as inclined to use them. Just build bigger, more beautiful things. Ah, yes, also, I need to take into account the fluids. Fluids must be taken into account. Okay, that will be interesting, but I can manage, I suppose. It looks like I'm going like that. Excuse me. What now? Pressurized Reef Mark II is in the way. What? Okay. Sure. It shows as blue, but it doesn't let you actually place. Sure. That shares the wastewater. What are these buildings? You've never seen them before. These are the pressurized reefs for trits. Our whales, the whales of the pie suite. This is the whales. Hello, how's it going? It's going fine so far. We have kittens in the household now after having an all-day trip out to Greensboro, North Carolina to pick them up yesterday. They are adjusting. They're adjusting well. They're not they're not shying away as much. I mean, they initially came in, we let them out. They hide a little bit. They running away from people. I think part of it is also they're playing too, so it's like they're playing you chasing them. That's what they're thinking in their minds. So they're of course gonna run away from you if they think that you're chasing. 'Cause that's their game. They play with each other by chasing each other. But yeah, they're fine right now. They are letting people pet them. You can pick them up and it's fine. They're not so squirmy. They have not scratched anyone. We have no damage yet of skin. Huh, but what about the pie cats? Uh yes, I can make them. I can make the dancing armored cats. I'm pretty sure. Where is the initial uncaged? Yeah, you. Uh, well, see, they require the alien sample threes and the cytostatics, so I sort of need to put a graphene roll. I sort of need to make graphene before that. So it's interesting. It's like, okay, I have all of these other things. I have all of these other things. I don't have chitin, a consistent supply of chitin. So I would need chitin and I would need graphene formamide. I have for the sample twos already. So yeah, it's graphene and it's chitin. That's the only thing. And then we could do the dancing armored cats.